Hello everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Save UNBC Reports. The Save UNBC group has been very busy doing research and then documenting the serious issues with UNBC's managerial model. The group would like to thank the many UNBC faculty, staff, and alumni who continue to provide us with valuable information that may return UNBC to the correct path moving forward. In previous videos, we examined the surprising inconsistencies in the academic and professional history of UNBC's current president. In this new video, we will respond to queries that have been made by several of UNBC's graduates. They are concerned about the diplomas that UNBC gave to them at their graduation. We should state clearly that the Save UNBC members are not legal professionals. We can only state the facts and offer opinions. If you completed your studies successfully and have graduated from UNBC, then you should carry a valid diploma as evidence of your success and as you travel on your career path. You will see on the screen a section of UNBC's core values and statement of principles. As stated, all members of the university community share the responsibility for the academic standards and reputation of the university. Academic integrity is founded on values of respect for knowledge, truth, scholarship, and acting with honesty. Upholding academic integrity is a condition of continued membership in the university community. These are very admirable values that must be adhered to for UNBC to operate as a legitimate institution. Unfortunately, Save UNBC has discovered that there are members of UNBC's leadership team who have not lived up to those standards. They have taken an oath of hypocrisy and will not be named in this video. Let's now look at a slide showing a section of the BC University Act. Under Chancellor, there must be a Chancellor of each university who is to be appointed by the board on nomination by the Alumni Association and after consultation with the Senate. Moving down, this is very important. The Chancellor must not be employed by a university. In other words, a university president cannot act as the Chancellor because a university president is already a university employee. If the Chancellor's position becomes vacant, a new Chancellor must be appointed as soon as it is practicable. The President of the university holds the office of Vice Chancellor. But the Vice Chancellor has no defined role. It's only a title without a stated duty. It can be misleading to use the term Vice Chancellor on a diploma. The Chancellor is to confer all degrees. Therefore, a university cannot issue degrees without a Chancellor. The remainder of the page describes the roles of the Board, the Senate, the President, and the Registrar. If there is a vacancy, an acting President or Registrar may be appointed. They are not termed as interim appointments, they are termed as acting appointments. Moving to the next slide. As per the BC University Act, the following 3 signatures are required in the degree certificates issued by UNBC. First is the Chancellor, because there must be a Chancellor, must not be employed by UNBC, and the Chancellor confers all degrees. The President, because the President is the chair of the Senate, which grants degrees. And the Registrar, because the Registrar is the custodian of the documents. Each of these 3 authorities possess distinct authority and responsibility in the awarding of degrees. Now, for a touch of levity, I wanted to have a slide showing 2 young people to represent potential UNBC students, and I found this photo on the internet. Let's call these 2 young people Andrew and Molly. You're about 18 years old and you're now completing high school. You've decided that you want to go to UNBC. If you live in Prince George, you can go to UNBC and save a lot of money. If you are from elsewhere, you may want to get away from your parents or from your annoying little brother. With any luck, your parents are funding your post-secondary education. If not, then your student loans may be in the tens of thousands of dollars, so it's a very serious undertaking. Prince George is a very nice place. You come to UNBC, and for 4 or more years, you work your heart out to earn your degree. You have made sacrifices, you've put in the effort, and you expect to be rewarded with a career opportunity and a nice diploma for your wall. So it is May 2020, and you've earned this valid diploma from UNBC. It contains the required 3 signatures of the Chancellor, Joseph Gosnell, Interim President, Jeffrey Payne, and the UNBC Registrar, Bert Anir. This is a perfect diploma and the last one that you will see from UNBC for about 3 years. A few months later, on August the 18th, 2020, Chancellor Joseph Gosnell passes away. It's a very sad day for UNBC and for Chief Gosnell's family and for his community. This is the CBC announcement with a very nice photo of Joseph Gosnell. Later that morning, Interim President Jeff Payne circulates an email inside of UNBC to make the appropriate announcement about the passing of Joseph Gosnell. If you'd like to read this, please pause this video for a few moments. Several weeks after the passing of Joseph Gosnell, UNBC continues to issue diplomas with Joseph Gosnell's signature. The diplomas are dated September 2020. This begs the question, are these diplomas fraudulent or invalid? Chancellor Gosnell could not have applied his signature to a document in September of 2020. UNBC did not have a chancellor at that time. After the death of Joseph Gosnell, UNBC's top priority, respecting the University Act, should have been to appoint a new chancellor as quickly as was reasonably possible. After all, it is only the chancellor who bestows degrees to graduates. This diploma is from May of 2021. UNBC still has not appointed a new chancellor. UNBC continues to issue diplomas with the forged signature of Joseph Gosnell, who passed away about 9 months earlier. According to the BC University Act, only a chancellor can confer degrees. This photo has been shown to many people, and they are at a loss for words that an accredited university would issue flawed diplomas to its graduates. The COVID epidemic is not an excuse. Unfortunately, the situation gets worse. When Service BC was contacted, they suggested that this be reported to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, who, after creating a reference ID, said that they added this case to the National Fraud Database. Before we move to the next UNBC diploma, we'll do a quick review. As per the BC University Act, the Vice-Chancellor has no role. As a matter of fact, as per the BC University Act, Vice-Chancellor is a defunct position without any role or responsibility being defined. Vice-Chancellor is just listed at one place in the BC University Act. The President of the University holds the office of Vice-Chancellor. That's all. No other UNBC document exists that we're aware of that define this role. And the next diploma that you see will be the first time in UNBC history that Vice-Chancellor is printed on the degree certificates, which appears to be an attempt at deception to confuse or mislead with the impression that the Vice-Chancellor actually plays the role of Chancellor, which would violate the BC University Act, because the Chancellor must not be employed by a university. 1 year later, in May of 2022, UNBC has yet to appoint a new Chancellor. That is almost 2 years after the passing of Joseph Gosnell. As you see, there is no Chancellor's signature on this diploma, yet it says that the Chancellor is conferring the degree. For the first time, Jeffrey Payne includes Vice-Chancellor after his signature. This may give the misleading impression that the Vice-Chancellor is able to confer degrees. Apparently, the registrar at that time was actually an interim registrar as well. So one must ask, why does UNBC have a Board of Governors, a Senate, and a President if they are unable to operate a functional university? On July the 15th, 2022, UNBC appointed Darlene McIntosh as the new chancellor, but she wasn't officially installed until October the 21st, 2022. This UNBC diploma from September of 2022 does not yet contain the signature of a chancellor, even after Darlene McIntosh had been appointed. On this slide, we're looking at a Government of Canada statement on the purpose of signatures. Whether a signature is paper-based or electronic, the fundamental purpose of the signature is the same. A signature links a person to a document or transaction and typically provides evidence of that person's intent to approve or to be legally bound by its contents. The primary function of a signature is to provide evidence of the signatory's identity, their intent to sign, and agreement to be bound by the contents of the document. So signatures provide authenticity to the document. So what happened to Andrew and Molly? If I was a student like Andrew or Molly and I had worked my butt off every day for 4 years trying to achieve excellence in my studies, I would expect UNBC to reward me with a flawless diploma. Instead, they received documents that demonstrated UNBC's lack of care and lack of professionalism. During a 2-year period, UNBC likely issued several hundred diplomas that do not meet university standards. If an employer were to examine one of those diplomas, they may question its authenticity. If an employer were to check the National Fraud Database, they would find that these diplomas were added by the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre as being possibly fraudulent. Who's responsible for this? Ultimately, it's the president of UNBC. It's also the Senate and the registrar. If you are Andrew or Molly, I would contact UNBC and have my faulty diploma replaced with a legitimate diploma. Good luck with that, though, because you can be sure that UNBC's leadership will not want to admit that they've made a serious mistake. The first rule of UNBC management is to never admit to making a mistake. By the way, UNBC's management are also experts in attacking whistleblowers. If UNBC does not respond, you should report this problem to the BC Ministry of Post-Secondary Education. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you also to Andrew and Molly for participating in this video presentation.